Hey there, lovely. If you're a driven and highly ambitious woman who has checked all the boxes, followed all the rules, only to realize you don't actually feel fulfilled or you don't feel like you're living your purpose, then you are absolutely in the right place. My name is Melissa Chavis. I'm an intuitive mindset coach, and I am absolutely obsessed with helping you discover your true purpose, that thing you were put here on this earth to do, so that you can live the most fulfilling and abundant life possible. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome back to another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about something that feels so simple in theory, but in practice, it changes literally everything. And that is finally learning to trust yourself. Learning to trust yourself, to listen to your own inner guide versus seeking all of your answers outside yourself. Because when you finally start listening to your own inner guide, your life shifts in ways that no strategy or checklist or guide could ever possibly replicate. So today, we are going to talk about why this level of self-trust feels so difficult to access in the beginning, what keeps us stuck in a place of outsourcing our decisions, and how learning to follow your own energetic blueprint or your human design can completely change the way you move through your life. First, I want to talk about why is it so hard to trust yourself? Well, for starters, most of us were never taught how to trust ourselves more than anyone else around us. We were taught to look to others for the right answers and to be good girls and to follow the rules and to do what makes the most logical sense in any given situation. We were rewarded for people pleasing or doing as others asked, and punished, whether that was subtly or directly, for listening to our own intuition instead of what other people were telling us. So it makes perfect sense that as adults, especially as women, we look around for someone else to tell us what to do next. We look to others to affirm that our decisions are the right decisions, or we look to others to give us a map to live the life that we think we want to live. And we end up trusting everyone else's opinion more than we trust ourselves. And when that happens, even if your life looks great from the outside, you end up feeling disconnected in some way. So today I just want to share a little bit more about my own experience here, because I know that some of you are in this space right now and can really relate to how this feels. When I first decided to go out and start my own business, I did what I thought you were supposed to do in that situation. I looked for the best courses, the smartest mentors, and essentially someone else to tell me the right way to do it. I consumed everything. I was listening to all the podcasts. I was downloading all of the templates. And I even invested thousands of dollars in multiple step-by-step programs. And still, after all of that, something just felt off. All of the advice that I was getting, all of the guidance and direction that I was getting just didn't feel right for me in some way. what I eventually realized was that it wasn't because the strategies that I was learning didn't work. It wasn't because of that. It was actually because they weren't what I wanted. What I noticed was that the individuals who were teaching me these strategies, they weren't actually living life or running their business in the way that I wanted to. And so they couldn't teach me how to do something differently than the way that they're doing it, right? They're just here showing people how they're doing things. And that's great because it can be incredibly helpful if you are in a similar situation to them and you want your business to look like theirs, you want your life to look like theirs. That's great. And I'm sure it works for many, many people. But one day it finally hit me that I didn't need someone to give me their answers. What I needed was someone to teach me how to look within and find my own answers. What I was searching for wasn't outside of me, it wasn't someone else's guidance. I needed to figure out how to listen to my own inner guide because, of course, no one else can tell me what's right for me. And so I needed to understand how to look within myself. And I needed a mentor who was living the kind of life that I aspired to live and who could teach me how to look within to find the answers that I needed in order to create that kind of life for myself. That was when I finally stopped chasing and searching for the perfect advice. And I started seeking out how I could tap into my own inner knowing and follow my own advice. And of course, changing the way that I move through life, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to shift this paradigm and shift to looking inward for the answers. And it definitely did not feel natural at first. I spent a lot of time trying to do that thing and then ending up, you know, continuing to chase this shiny object or think that maybe somebody else had the right answers for me. But eventually I was able to come back to myself and look within for the answers that I was searching for. And it truly was the beginning of my full alignment journey, the journey that has gotten me to this place where I absolutely love the life that I get to live. And it feels so completely my own and no one else's. So here's what I want to normalize and help you understand. And it's that your inner knowing likely isn't the loudest voice in the room. And it's not always going to come through confidently or perfectly. Sometimes it sounds like a whisper deep inside of you. Sometimes it's telling you to walk away from something that seems to make sense to everyone else around you. Or it may be telling you to say yes to an opportunity that you can't quite explain why, but you just feel like it's right for you. You see, learning to trust yourself and your own inner knowing is not just some switch that you flip. It's a practice. It's a moment to moment choice to come back to yourself. And it's not about always knowing for sure that you're making the right move. It's about being okay, not knowing, and still moving forward. It's about fully trusting. But here's the real secret. The more you practice listening, the more your inner guide starts to speak louder and louder. And the more you act on that voice, the more confident you become in listening to it. The more you develop that self-trust. And this is exactly why I love using human design in my own life and in the work that I do with other women, because human design gives you language and structure for what your intuition sounds like and feels like for you specifically. It shows you how you are uniquely wired to make decisions and move your life forward in the right direction. Because some of us are meant to trust our gut. Some of us need to feel things out emotionally. Some of us need to speak it out loud and hear our own truth. Your inner voice sounds and feels different from the other people around you. So when you understand your design and how to use that information to make decisions and move your life forward, you're not guessing anymore. You're remembering how your inner voice speaks to you and how to trust it and actually take that information and move your life forward in a direction that feels more aligned and feels easier. Life truly starts to feel like it makes more sense to you, like it is actually yours, and like you're going in the right direction. And of course, not perfect, because perfection is just a myth, but it feels lighter, more like you. And so, if this resonates for you, if you've been feeling pulled towards something deeper, but haven't really known where to start, here's what I want you to know. You don't need to force anything, and you don't need more information from someone else about how they're doing something that you want to do. You just need to learn and understand how to come back to your own inner knowing. And so that is exactly what we're going to talk about next week inside my free live workshop. It's called How to Reconnect with Your Inner Guide Using Your Human Design. It's happening next Tuesday, April 29th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Zoom. We'll walk through how to understand your unique inner authority, aka your inner decision-making blueprint, so that you can start creating more clarity, more ease, and more alignment in your life. So I'm going to drop the link here in the show notes so you can click there to save your spot. Or if you want, you can just DM me guide over on Instagram. That's at Melissa Ann Chavis, and I will send it straight to your inbox for you. So here's what I want to leave you with today as I close out this episode. You were never meant to follow someone else's path. You don't need another checklist or another guide. You just need to learn how you are designed to move through the world, and then trust that. Because once you do, everything changes. You stop asking for permission and you start creating a life that actually feels like yours. And I am here to help you do exactly that. So until next time, I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. That's it for another episode of the Authentic Awakening podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you found it helpful, I'd love to hear from you. You can do that by liking and subscribing to my YouTube channel or rating and reviewing the podcast wherever you're listening.